Hello, and thank you again for coming to the masterclass. It was really lovely to have you there. And as I promised, here is the summary of the session. So the question was of the session, can you pinpoint one thing in particular that causes feeling of overwhelm for you? Maybe take a pen and a piece of paper and just take a moment and write one or two things down. Maybe you even remember the ones you had, but maybe it's something completely different from the last time. It looks to us to be true that, for example, I'm constantly stressed. I'm not one who can slow down. When I take some time off, everything around me will collapse. I am the one who has to carry all the responsibility, and that's really, really hard. So how it seems to work, or how we are conditioned to think since the day you are born, is that people, circumstances, and events are responsible for the way I feel. In that moment, when I am thinking that my experience is coming from what is happening, then there is for me something to do. There is for me something to change. I need to try to think positive all the time. I need to get out of that situation. I need to go on holiday again, or I just need to take myself out of that, and then the world is going to be all right. So when I experience that and I'm in the middle of that, I feel overwhelmed. I feel completely stressed out, and I am judging myself because I should feel a different way, but I'm feeling that way. I'm feeling angry. Maybe I let the anger out on my staff. I come home in the evening and I let it out on my partner, and I'm just on this downward spiral that I'm adding more self-judgment on myself, more thinking on myself, and you can see that it gets more and more, and I'm just running around like a rabbit in the headlights. But the way it works is that my experience is always 100% of the time coming from thought. Full stop. When I can see it, that my reality is coming from thought, then there is for me nothing to do anymore. I don't have to change my experience. I can sit here and think about my work and everything I have to do, and I can feel utterly overwhelmed with everything there is to be created. So for example, one of my clients, he does kitchens, and he was already 10 steps ahead. He was not only thinking about the work he's doing in the moment, but he was also thinking about the designs he had to do. He was thinking about his accounts, his tax return, talking with some of his staff, Then he has to deal with the builders, with the plumbers. And he was just in that moments when he is thinking about that, he's utterly, utterly overwhelmed. And that's what we do. For me, when I heard about this understanding, this fundamental logic, that my experience is not coming from what is happening, but it is coming from thought. My mind started to quiet down. There's nothing to change, nothing to do, as I said before, but to see that it comes from thought. Then I see in that moment when I'm feeling stressed, it is because I'm having stressful thinking. In that moment when I feel frustrated, I'm having frustrated thinking. In the moment when I experience overwhelm, it is because I'm having overwhelming thinking. Full stop. But I do know when I can see that it is coming from thought, it's going to be something else in the next moment. I'm thinking maybe in the next moment, about an email I need to write, and then I write that email. And then I think what I'm going to do in the evening, and then I'm thinking about the shopping I'm doing, the cooking I'm doing, I'm thinking about my family. And then suddenly I'm thinking again about all this work I'm having to do. And in that moment, I'm feeling overwhelmed. The weather is constantly changing. And we do know when it's overcast, the sun is going to come out again. Definitely. And that's the same when I can sit in my uncomfortable feeling, being okay with feeling uncomfortable. But I know it's going to change. So the only question to ask is, where is my experience coming from? Does it seem to me true that it is coming from what is happening? Or is it actually coming from thought? And like I said, it only works one way, 100% of the time. You're living in your thought-created reality. I invite you to just go out and just experience that there is nothing you can experience without the power of thought. Not any of your 5 senses. You can't hear, you can't see, you can't feel, you can't smell, you can't taste without the power of thought. And what is thought? So is it from what is happening, or is my overwhelm coming in that moment from thought?